Really, our mission is bringing family and friends around the table. All right, guys. Apparently, we did not mess up episode 1 bad enough that they are letting me do another one, which is crazy. Crazy awesome. So this is episode 2 of At the Table, and I'm so pumped with our guest today. So I guess I should probably lead this out by saying I'm not naturally like a big car guy. I don't know why. Like I love riding them. I love driving them. But I've never been like big into cars. But I have been like hooked on your content for the past couple of years, just following it. So today we have Neal Sheppard, who is like the all things accessory builds for trucks with Akens and Wild Willies. And so anyone that's local to us in Weiner, Georgia, you got Akens Ford, like the top Ford dealer. Is it?
Yes, we're top 5 right now for the year.
Top 5. That's crazy. And so it's cool to have them literally in our backyard.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, awesome. Man. Yeah. I'm already messing up my mic. But in our backyard. And so it's fantastic. So I will say that I'm a professional. We bought a lot of vehicles from you guys.
You have.
And so just the service and everything that you guys do is amazing. And so I don't know. Just thank you so much for taking time out of your. I know your schedule is crazy. In fact, I want to talk a little bit about it here in just a little bit. But why don't you just tell us a little bit about? I think Akens is a pretty. It's a Ford dealer. So like a little bit about Wild Willies and like what you guys do there.
Sure. Yeah, it's great to be here and love doing podcasts and love what you guys been doing as well. So I've been in the automotive industry for nearly 20 years now, and just over the years knew that Akens was a special place, being a family-owned store, and then the volume that it has become now, being a well-ran store, Ford store, as well as Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And automobiles are a very impactful portion of our lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, we Georgia folks and Americans in general, we love our automobiles. So I thought it was I've always been passionate about automobiles. And then have done all aspects of the sales side. And then me and Mr. Brad Akens just kind of paired up with the Wild Willies aspect of things of custom is just kind of a better way to live. That's kind of the main thing, just like a steak's better with lanes on it.
That's right.
Custom is a better way to drive. Now, I know you're on a stock F-150, but a great one at that. So you've got a good foundation. A steak's a steak and a truck's a truck, but there's always ways to enhance them in different ways. But the dealership, what the dealership's been able to accomplish has really just facilitated what we're doing on the accessory side as well, because of just having so many people that we see on a daily basis that are here to purchase a vehicle or want to just make their everyday drivability better. Yeah. That's kind of where we come in at. And
that's cool.
Wild Willies is a local thing too. Since 1995, it was in the Conyers area, and we even did business with Wild Willies before we were owned it actually.
Okay.
So we actually were kind of sending vehicles to the Conyers store to do other upfits and accessories.
Gotcha.
Running boards, just low hanging fruit, things that made people's truck experience better overall. Yeah. And so that was great. And then I guess just Brad, being the great mind that he is, saw a niche or a way to bring that in-house and really just facilitate and help convenience our customers even more. And so it's just really been a great thing of having that on house, on site, and then being later to see how it's grown in the past few years has been really special.
That's awesome. We see a lot of that. So it's kind of like a vehicle's a vehicle, like a grill is a grill. But like people want to personalize it. They want in their backyard, to be the king of their backyard, and that's our goal. Like, how do we help them get there? But that's it. That's why most of the time a person doesn't just have one grill. They might have a ceramic grill, a pellet grill, a charcoal, like all these different things, which is what I love about what you do, because it's not just a vehicle.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so it's actually, the vehicle is the vehicle for the relationship. And that's really kind of what we wanted. And that's really why I was like, hey, man, we got to get Neal in here. There's another thing, too, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But that's really it. What is it about people, I guess, that kind of helps you? I mean, I would say, especially your page is like the best of the best of like just, and I don't even, do you even say tricking out? Like, is that like an old school? My kids are probably like,
well, kind of like our rubs we have here.
Yeah.
We kind of like to go from mild to wild. So
Yeah.
whether you're just wanting some floor mats in your stock unit, or you want to kind of take it more on the wild side, we've got kind of levels of what you're looking to do to it.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see all spectrums. Like you said, there's different grills, there's different ways to cook meat or prepare meat or be into the grilling aspect. Same thing on the vehicle segment. We see people that just want to get a taste, just want to do just a little something. And then some people that grow in their journey. This vehicle, they may just do a level kit and tires. And then next time they kind of, 2 years later, they're like, well, let's try to do some custom. Let's add some paint. Yeah. Let's add a bed cover. Let's do some interior attributes. So it's just the evolution of, I guess, any rabbit hole you go down is how much time you want to spend in that avenue, So the vehicle scene is much like the cooking scene of it's how much time and how much knowledge you want to gain from it, really.
All right. So I know you've done a ton of like wild builds, right? I've seen them all on the page. So what is like one that kind of comes to mind that you're like, this is the like, I don't know, the pinnacle, even if there is a pinnacle, but like, what's the big one that kind of stands out to you?
And that's a great question, but it's a tough question because I guess you can gauge that just on, I guess, money wise, how much we've sold as far as a package on a vehicle, but that it typically equates to the most extravagant, most flamboyant or special build. But I would say personally, some of those that were just, we've had $80,000 truck builds on top of a $100,000 truck. F450s most exclusively. Those big 450 dually trucks tend to be that strength that people desire. Like if I have an F450 truck, especially if it's customized, it can do anything, and it's going to be one of the best trucks on the road. But I would say just some of those, even those $10,000, the $15,000, the $5,000, the $2,000 builds that were a family's vehicle that they were tricking out for their son that was about to turn 16. It's not just one particular one that really stands out because there's been so many, but I guess just each and every one what meaning it has attached to it. The story behind it. It's not just about, man, this guy, he's the best because he spent $80,000. He probably has one of the baddest trucks he does, most definitely, but it's really just that story that goes along with it and making sure that we attribute what their interests are to what we tastefully incorporate to their vehicle. Making it as much as custom as we can for that customer, I think is what really stands out. We've done, I guess if I had to pick one,
I'm not letting you off without picking one.
Well, I'm still very sour about the Georgia Bulldogs not being in the playoff again, but I guess just, I have favorite customers and favorite vehicles, but the one that really, I guess, emotionally got me was Nolan Smith's Raptor, Georgia player. Yeah. We just did his Raptor a couple years ago, and got to film it inside Sanford Stadium, and that was the year that they won this championship. And just having, like, my son was a part of that, Nolan was a part of it, the collaborations, and that was a really special build because that meant the most, I guess, to me because of just being a long time diehard Georgia guy and getting to be a part of that. We finally won the championship to go along with it. So that was really special. Cool. But we've matched a 450 to a customer's boat recently. We've done, custom trucks for people all across the country that have all got their own special meaning to it. We could all just probably take a road trip and go to all these places and do some grilling with them.
I'm telling you, I think there's more to it. And that actually leads. So it's funny because at the end of the day, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but the truth is we sell salt and sugar. Like, that's it. We're putting a little spin on it.
Right.
You guys sell vehicles. But the thing is, it's so much more than that. And that's what I always tell people. Like, we want to sell somewhat like a lifestyle, but we're selling fellowship. And that's really what our goal is. Like, we think fellowship happens when you gather people around a table and share a meal. I think the same thing happens with what you're doing is you're bringing, what's crazy, we were talking before this, but you're bringing guys from Montana and Georgia and Tennessee and all these places together. that share a commonality, but they don't necessarily know that because they just think they're getting a vehicle, but there's so much more to it. And so that's what I love about what you guys are doing. Like, tell us a little bit about like, why has Wild Willies and like what you guys are doing, which is what leads to what we'll talk about in a second. But like, what is it that you guys intentionally do to like promote that lifestyle brand?
Great question. So essentially, just being in the car industry, you know, quite a long while, I've had opportunity to see companies and places that do what Wild Willies does, but even at a much larger scale. They mass produce custom vehicles, which people are drawn to. They like that that's a niche segmented vehicle that's unique. Yeah. But still, to me, I always looked at that as, man, that's it is, but it's not, because, you know, the 20 dealerships are, you know, across the country, I can find that same vehicle and there's no wheel option. There's no other options that really make it truly unique and custom. Yeah. And man, life is short. We need to definitely, you know, live life as custom as we can. So it was like, let's don't promote what, the actual accessory. Let's promote what we know goes along with it. Yeah. Let's promote that family that's a weekend baseball family. Let's promote that racing family, or that deer hunter, or that fisherman, or weekend adventure seeker, that really we can tie in attributes on the truck that make it best for them. And plus, it's just that lifestyle. If you look at Red Bull, if you look at all the major brands, they're not promoting and posting the Red Bull soft drink. They're promoting kind of what we're doing, that feel, the feeling that it leaves you with. And to me, that's the most powerful thing, because, I mean, if we can tap into a customer's emotion and really hit home with what their interests and likes and dislikes are, and tie that into something that they're in all the time, that's epic to me. And so it's just promoting that lifestyle by living it. And it's a great thing. I kind of like, am I really, like, are we working today? Or it doesn't feel like it to me.
I'll be honest. Like, it really, what we do, it doesn't feel like that either. Like, we'll cook in a little bit and we'll do all those things. And I think that's why social media, one of the reasons it's so popular is simply because what we want to do is, like, it is just seasonings in a bottle, right? But like, we want to provide the recipes, like, we want to answer questions, do all these things, like, so that way when Bill at the end of Friday gets off work and he's like, listen, it's been a crazy week, but the family, we're gathering for dinner, and like, he wants to put on a show. Like, he wants to be the king of his backyard. And our goal is, how do we help him do that? And that's what sets it apart, I think, for the vehicles too. The truth is, you can just go buy an F-150 anywhere, but like, people want to put their own spin on it, you know?
They do.
And so that's what it's the same way with, I always tell people, you know, some people in the barbecue world are like, this is the only way to do it. And I'm like, anyone who tells you that, that's total BS. There's 100 ways you can cook something. So what I would say is, find what your family loves and like, just keep experimenting. Like, just keep trying different things out. And that's why, I think that's why Instagram is so popular, because people want to post what they're doing, you know?
I like how, on your website, plain as day, you've all the ingredients. You go to each one of your season.
We're not hiding anything. We're like, hey, this is what we have in it. If you want to take the time to buy all the single ingredients, but we would rather us put it in the bottle, and all you got to do is focus on making the meal and spending time with your family.
And I think that adds integrity to the brand and value as well to the consumer, because the same thing on my end. As I was growing up, I was trying to find information on how to trick out my bicycle or my ATV or my first vehicle, and there was no information on how to do it or if it would work or not. So I was just shooting the dark. So the fact that I put everything on YouTube or on social media to the T of like, it's this exact wheel size, this exact offset, this is exactly how we did this, and this. And I think other people may want to maybe, I guess disguise that or not show that as much. And you're kind of transparent like we are, like, hey, this is what we got in here. But there's just something a little bit special, a little bit different about the Lane season versus anybody else.
We want to be the difference. You know what I mean? Like we want what our family, like our team, we want to be the difference. Like anybody can actually do what we do if you just put the time and effort into it, right? Like you can Google how to make a wild game. You know what I mean? Like you can do all that. There's access at your fingertips. But what we want to do is make sure if someone doesn't know how to do something and they message us, like we're getting right back with them. Hey, have you thought about this? Or have you tried this? Or you know what? If you have little kids, maybe don't use this one, but try this one. You know what I mean? And so it's just, how can we make it to where it's not just about the purchase? Ultimately, we want to build relationships, which is why when you guys reached out to us, maybe a couple months ago, I was like, this is amazing. And like, so I guess let's just talk about it. So you guys reached out, and I think the reason why I was so excited is because you're not in the barbecue world. And like that ultimately says that you guys are thinking much bigger than vehicles, and we're thinking much bigger than spices. And so how can we get together and kind of do something? And this one, man, I'm so excited about. So this is the Lanes and Wild Willies co-branded wild game rub. So people have been asking us about doing a wild game rub forever. And I'm like, I kind of feel like a poser. I don't hunt, like raised by a single mom. Like we were making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you know what I mean? And doing things like that where it's like, I want to get out and live that lifestyle. And that's my goal. And we've even talked about, all right, how do we get out there and do that? But so tell us why wild game. And we're doing the tailgate blend, which is like the AP as well, which is fantastic. But I think this one, I think it's really, and it's not just like this, just a play, like it's a good rub.
It's really good.
We used it the other day and I'm like, why have we never done this? And so it's fantastic. But talk a little bit about like why the connection with, and granted, we are in each other's backyards, but there, you know, so there is some relationship already there. But why did you guys want to do a seasoning?
Just looking at this right here, both of these, Tanner's sitting right there. I know him and I got chills just looking at this. This is really, really special seeing this come to fruition. And in my household, my wife brought me onto this. She's from Oconee County. I'm from Toccoa, Northeast Georgia, but she's the one that told me about Lanes in general. Yeah. So she was like, you got to try this. You got to try this rub on our next stuff. That's what we're doing. It's kind of been a staple in our family. So the natural ties of just believing in your product initially was great. But I guess just the wild game rub in itself is, to me, a segment. I mean, been in the grocery store lately? Mm-hmm. How expensive meat and things are. Every year, we are avid hunters. Every year, we have a freezer that we have to throw away deer meat. Yeah. And essentially just because we haven't really found a way to prepare it or cook it good enough to where it passes the wife's approval or the other family members' approval. They have that mantra about it instantly of it's not going to be good. So you're fighting that battle instantly. So it's just a way of a meat that is very healthy nutritionally, low in fat, and just a way to make it just take that edge off of it a little bit, which the wild game rub definitely does. So just I feel like I'm not the only one that has family members that just will not eat wild game meat at all because of that, just the mentality from it.
It's a stigma. The stigma you're going to taste it, the gaminess. And the truth is, like, you don't. Yeah.
So this was kind of more of a challenge for you guys. Hey, help us knock this out as far as getting something that can take it away.
I'll be honest, our team knocked it out of the park. Like, and here's the thing, you can see all the ingredients on the back, but it's the juniper. Right. It like sets it off. It's amazing. And so we did some back straps the other day with it. And I'm like, how have we been doing this for over 8 years and we never put juniper in something? And it's got other things in it too, but it's just something that, and it's not masking the flavor of the venison, but it's just, I can't wait to do like some elk or some bison or something like that, just to do some different, I don't know, just different cuts.
Elk is probably my personal favorite. It has a little bit of a sweeter taste to it, and I haven't tried it with the rub yet, but that's going to be be really special one to try.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think next year is going to be awesome. By the time this podcast airs, these will already be out, and you can grab them at Wild Willies.
Absolutely.
And we'll be selling them as well. But I think my favorite part about what we get to do, besides sitting down and talking to you, is the fact that we can reach outside of our walls. And that's like, so we go to Bethlehem Church, and that's the big thing is like, we don't want to just work within our team. Like, we got 30 team members, like, well, that's okay, but how do we get outside and like share the love, you know? And that's what I think is the most exciting thing about this for us is there's, how many employees are over at Akens? Like
nearly 400.
400 employees. That's crazy. And so that's just the smallest, like 400 minimum, plus our team will all get to try these things. But how many, it's that multiply, you know, like then you can kind of talk to some different people. So, which kind of leads me to the next thing is like, so we've talked about the cool builds, right? And I know last week you were in Vegas. And so where is the most random place that someone has bought a vehicle from you? Like, they live, you know, not in Winder.
We've had several in Hawaii. We've had a great guy named Robert bought several Raptors in Hawaii. We've got an F450 going to Hawaii early January. But really, we just got us a map. I think there's only been 4 states that we have not sold to yet as far as custom. And then we get the random Dubai, Romania, Yugoslavia. We get people that are just followers from all over the world that are just like, oh, I wish we could buy Fords in our country. But they're a fan and a follower of just a good looking, tastefully crafted truck.
Yeah.
It's just been really, really humbling to see how many people really just appreciate what we're doing.
That's awesome. So say you've got someone who is, they're either starting a business or they're in a business that they would just consider, you know, like you're selling vehicles, we're selling seasonings, but they want to start a social media page. Like you're starting a new one. How do you go about it? Like what would be a couple tips where you're like, it's not about this, it's about this?
It's not, think about, I mean, the thing that's really driven me when I had this shift in my thinking, it really changed everything. Do not post for yourself. I mean, post often and frequently as you can, but do not post for yourself. Post with the intention of what can the viewer gain from this? How can I benefit him with either some knowledge or put a smile on his or her face? What value can I bring to this platform and what I'm trying to promote or put out there? That's really a good footprint. And then I guess if you have interest, it's hard to say chase your passion because you may not be passionate about cooking at first because you may suck at it. I mean, if you're going to suck at if you're
going to suck at it, just use lanes. At least it'll be a step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really believe in pursue your passion because you may find out your passion is something that you initially were not very good at. So if you have any interest in something, just pursue that and then just be as genuine as you can of just telling the story. It's really just about storytelling online to me. It's really just not about, promoting. People say I advertise or we advertise. I don't look at it that at all. I don't think of anything that I do online as a promotion. I know it is a promotion, but in my heart, it's like, man, this is the coolest story about this truck because of what we did to it and just the backstory. So it's all about. I
can tell you from like my experience, just like taking on your content, like I wouldn't see it as a promotion at all.
Right.
In fact, I think that's why I'm drawn to it. Because like I said, I'm not like, it gets my brain spinning like, oh my gosh, like I didn't, and I want to talk about, we'll get into the next thing, but I just love the way that you have a way of telling a story. And I think that's ultimately it. It's how do you tell a story and still get everything across that you want to for the person that's consuming it. And that's really the big thing.
That's why Lanes is going to continue to blow up because like if you really genuinely enjoy and love and are passionate about what you're doing, it's not a promotion. It's really just you're telling life. You're just living through the camera lens. And to me, that's a great separator that gives me confidence and it should give you confidence too because the time we've spent with we can tell that you love what you do. And it took some risk, I know, of stepping out and saying, this is what we're going to do full time. And it's been done great things for you. So I guess to go back to your question, for that person that's trying to get started, find something that you have somewhat of an interest in, and then just attack it as ferociously as you can every single day to see if there's something there. And there may not be, but there may be, and then just kind of document and tell that story along the way, and it tends to work out.
I think there's a key to consistency too, and it doesn't have to be every day, but it's telling the same story. You know what I mean? And like any piece of the content, I can tell just by looking at, 1 month what you love.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's the people, that's the vehicles. And then the third thing, which is something that's totally off the wall, we were talking about this last time, is the racing. So like, and I don't know if you want to share your age, but like, tell us a little bit about that. Cause I'm like, wait, what?
Absolutely. That goes back to, I guess just a shift in a generational thing. I grew up enjoying riding ATVs all my life for fun, and asked my family a few times to pursue maybe trying a race here or there. But it was more so, I guess our thing is baseball and football, so that's what we're doing. It wasn't trying something new, wasn't, I guess, on the table of how busy we were, money, et cetera. But my son, he's 16. He asked me multiple times, kind of the same synopsis.
Yeah.
And I told him the same thing. And then 2 years ago, I was like, why am I telling him no? Like, why don't we try this?
Yeah.
Why don't we get out of our comfort zone? That was the biggest thing of not doing it. It was just not having someone to facilitate, to show us how to get started, what we needed, and all that. So once we dove off in that adventure, it kind of like the cooking and the vehicles, it really will take a hold of you. It's a segment that really can become very. I've never done anything more addicting than racing. And the money that it takes to do it is. We don't even want to talk about that, but nothing's
it's definitely
really.
It's got to be a passion project.
It's got to be a passion project, and it's been a lot of fun. My son and I both are doing it together, so we're and the wife's there obviously too. So we're getting to do this as a family. I'm getting to watch him race and compete, but I'm also getting to do it as well. So I'm living out kind of one of my old dreams. He's getting to do his as well. And then just from our side, I didn't know that. Well, I should have known, but this segment is huge as far as people are having trucks. They need a nice rig to pull their campers and trailers. And then once they're there on the weekend, they're not going anywhere to eat. They're cooking, and there's the smoke and the grills are going left and right. So this is a natural connection because, everything that we do, the lifestyle that we are promoting is that adventure lifestyle, that active lifestyle. We don't want to just sit around as life goes, it passes us by. We want to be able to go out and do things that we enjoy, and food's just right there with that. So this is just a natural, great partnership.
I'm reminded of that every week. It seems like it's been a crazy couple months, and it always seems to be around the holidays, but like people that are passing, whether they be older or younger or whatever. And the truth is, like, the life lesson is be passionate about something. Like, I think it's contagious. Like, I want to do things to my truck now because I'm like, wait, like, even if, you know what I mean?
Right.
Even if it's a bed cover, like whatever it is, I'm like, my brother told me last week, he's like, he got a King Ranch from you guys not too long ago, but he put a leveling kit on it and bigger tires. And I'm like, I thought this was already great. And then you're saying that, I'm like, man, I got to do more things. But it's the passion that's contagious. And I think that's what it is that will draw people in. It doesn't matter if you're selling vacuum cleaners.
Right.
If you are passionate about what you do, and that's ultimately it, like, life is too short. Like, even if like our team, like, I want to be passionate about marketing. I want to be passionate about fulfillment, pick, pack, and ship, like bottling, like, that's what I tell the team. So you got a bottle of seasoning, like every bottle has to be fantastic, because say this thing gets sold and it's going to California. Well, that's the one bottle that person's opening. You know what I mean? It's not like they might do 1,000 of them, but each person's going to get that one. And I want them to know that, like, we took the time and the effort and mixing and packaging and doing all these things, like, because we care not about this, but about the meal that you're going to share. And that's ultimately like our goal, is like, how do we bring everyone together? Because the truth is, we're not promised tomorrow.
That's right.
And so I think life gets so busy. In fact, if you look at our social media, if you look at your social media, like, life is busy. But the way I see it is, it's just going to be that way.
Yeah.
And so there are ways that you can intentionally slow down. And I think being around the table is one of those ways to do it. And so, and if you could get out, source your own food, do your own thing. Like a buddy of mine, so Brian Grant, who's got Grant Boys Honey, he brought the venison to us last week. And he's like, here's some backstrap and some ground. And like, knowing that his son shot that deer, they process it themselves. And then like, he brought it over, and then like, we got to share that with him. I'm like, that's amazing.
It's
a story.
It's a story. It's hard to wrap your mind around that in general, but just the what you're talking about as far as just coming back to the table. I think we're the age that we're at. I'm 39. We're still old school enough, but new school enough to where we kind of see both spectrums. Yeah. And I grew up. It was, my grandparents, 5 o'clock. They were sitting down together and eating, no matter what they had going on. They were sitting down by the table and having that family time to eat. And I think, this type of stuff really just kind of brings that back to the forefront of being an important thing, and also something that is just a special time to share and a special way to have a meal together.
That's awesome, man. All right. So this is the point where we're going to ask, we're going food now.
Yeah.
And so like, your family's sitting down around the table. So whether it be like something you guys do now, or like a meal you remember growing up that just reminds you of home. Like, and it could be both. Like, what is a meal growing up that just reminds you that comfort? And that's what I really think is like, food is comfort, And then what's something that like y'all are sitting down to dinner that's your go-to?
So back in the day, as I mentioned, my grandparents, I would spend a lot of time with them, and they were big on cooking. So it was, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, green beans, country fried steak.
Oh, yeah.
Just any of that, the good old school home cooked
Your
meals.
meat and three kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just starch, carb,
yes.
protein. all the good stuff was kind of what I was, and we would go to the garden and we would, get the beans, and we would do a lot of that stuff on our own. But a lot of that was, given to my parents, and we would have just good old school meals pretty much the whole time growing up. Now it's more of, time. There's not near enough time now, but now it's more so a chicken or a steak with some rice. Just kind of more of a low carb, but a healthy carb, and then a good protein source, a good lean meat source throughout the days and the weeks. I do like to smoke a brisket. I do like to do that when I have time, and turkeys as well. I do like to dabble with, I never had a Komodo, but I've had a big green egg. I still have a green egg, and time has gotten me on the Traeger kick right now.
Sure.
Had been on all spectrums of different ways to cook, and I feel like that the Komodo and eggs to me are my favorite as far as a taste.
That live fire.
That live fire is my favorite personally, but the pellets is very convenient and still gives you a decent taste as well.
I love the fact with like a pellet style is you can literally, we could be sitting here right now and could be like, turn on,
ready,
be at this temp. You know what I mean? And so that's cool, man. All right, so what do you see for 2024? Where do you think Wild Willies, like everything? It's funny we call it mild to wild, but everything I feel like it starts here, and like you just kick it to another level. So what happens in 2024?
24 is going to be a great year. What's trending the most right now is the Super Duty truck segment. I did a refresh for the 23s. And I guess inventory drives what is going to be most popular as far as what we can get our hands on, what's coming to us the most. We would like to do more Ram vehicle customizations. They make a great product as well, and we sell new Ram vehicles. Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep also. But what's been trending is the Super Duty trucks. To me, though, what's got to be the staple, I guess when interest rates, once they start to come back this way, then that can start to make more sense again. But to me, the truck that you drive, the F-150, an Akens Ford F-150 Platinum, is really just take care of every need type vehicle.
Yeah.
So we've seen a trend in the past 7-8 years of even women buying a truck as their main vehicle. You know, the SUVs were very popular. Cars are dwindling, more each year. That's kind of falling off. It's going more towards the SUV truck type segment. So we just try to harness and capture what the dealership what the dealership sells the most is a good indicator of what's going to be popular on our end.
Sure.
So the F-150 has always been our staple. The Ford Raptor is just another specialty Ford truck that we've always done very well with. That's getting a slight change for 2024 year model also. And then just the Super Duty trucks. The Super Duty, heavy duty Ford trucks have been the most popular thing in 2023, I guess, because of the new refresh and it drives better, a little more power, some of the subtleties that has. So
I'm telling you, the vehicles these days are just crazy.
Price point wise, that's the biggest thing.
They went from mild to wild pretty quick,
Well, I'll tell you, I was selling in 2012 and an F-150 Lariat was 42 grand was the Mac Daddy, and now that's $40,000 more than today. And so that was back when I was selling. I was like, man, are these vehicle prices going to take me and most of us out of the market in general?
Yeah.
And
that's why we recommend you eat at home. You spend it on the vehicle, you get to buy something, you get to share, and then you can share the news with your family sitting around the table.
Well, I'll tell you,
there's a lot more grace that way.
There's a lot of safety, convenience, and just natural benefits of driving a newer vehicle these days. And there's always ways that prioritize. See what is most important, and a vehicle and your food's got to be high on that list. So there's so many things below that you can whittle away.
That's right.
Out of your budget to make it work, and that's what we stick with. But the vehicles have gotten very expensive. Food has as well, but we can't apologize for that aspect of it. All we can do is just
price is price. Here's the thing.
Price.
That's what I always tell people for ours. Like, we are not going to be the least expensive.
Right.
We're probably going to be top of the category, but I'm not going to apologize for that. I think the reason why we are is because of the people and the ingredients that we put in it.
You'd be doing a disservice to your fans, followers, and consumers, just like we would if we said, "Oh, well, this vehicle's gotten $5,000 more than we think it should be, so we're going to put a inferior lift kit on it," or we just can't do that. That would be a disservice to our consumers. So we just want to be that consistent staple of you're going to get the same, great product and experience from us every single time. That's what it's got to be.
I love it, man. I love it. I could actually I feel like I'm getting more and more excited about the passion is contagious. It's coming on. Maybe I should add a couple other things to it.
I know we'll have them a bed cover on there probably. I mean a bed cover
will probably happen this week.
As many of these we're going to be selling, you'll be having to hand deliver them to us, and you'll need a bed cover to keep them dry.
That's right.
In the back of that truck,
Well, the cool thing is we sell seasonings all over the States too. So here's what I would challenge people. Where can people find you guys specifically, your page and all that? Because someone listens to this in Texas or in Missouri and they want to okay, I'm sold. I want a vehicle.
Absolutely.
Where can I come?
So wildwilliesaccessories.com, or just go to Instagram or YouTube, Facebook, if there's a social media platform, we're on it. So just go there and search for Wild Willies. Willies is Willies. Hit us up. And
your personal page too.
Yes. Real Deal Neal.
Real Deal Neal.
I got to tell you, because I'm not a conceited person, that you cannot be I cannot give myself that nickname.
That's right.
That's one that was, something to fuel you throughout your career and your path. And passion is important, but it's always good to, I guess, have the right enemies in your life. I guess, one that's going to not take up your mind of of negativity or bad thoughts, but one that can actually be a fuel for you.
Sure.
So I had a person when I first was selling, I wanted to be ambitious, and I put a billboard up and it said, "See Neal for the best deal." Kind of a quirky, I didn't know what to put up there. So that's what I put up there.
Yeah.
And just, I was trying. Someone saw that and said, "Oh, Real Deal Neal," and was just trying to throw some hate and some shade.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a really good nickname. I think I'm going to just take your nickname and roll with it.
Yeah.
So,
and what I found is, like, if you're getting the hate or getting the shade, like, you're doing something that's sparking something in someone else. You know what I mean? Good or bad. And that's typically when that's going to happen. So just know, like, you're on the right path.
That's right. Yeah.
You were then, you are now. So, all right. So Wild Willies, even Akens, you can find, they have a page.
Akens4.com. We're growing our social media platforms on that as well, but they all kind of interconnect to each other. But Akens4.com will kind of get you all the information that they can ask for as far as all of our brands. And before we end, I mean, like, can you tell the public about a little bit about, like, the Australia you got going on and all the great stuff? Like, tell us a little bit about.
Well, you know what's crazy is that all happened through social media.
What about that?
It was literally a direct message, and so this guy Brett had texted. It's probably 8 years ago. We were probably catering or doing something, and I remember I told Brian, I was like, some guy from Australia just reached out, and he's like, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, "Respond." Even if it's not a real thing, I'm going to respond and see where it goes. And it's crazy. It's just consistently grown. And the beauty is Brett has the same passion for food and people and his team that we do. And, like, and it's blown up so much so that Jeremy and I were actually there a couple weeks ago, I guess, and or no, a couple months ago, and we're actually moving the production for Australia to Australia.
That's great.
And so it's so much. I'm like, guys, this is like way out of our control. So
it's huge.
It's crazy, but you know what I mean. Like, God's hand's just been all over this business from day one, and ultimately our goal is just to be the best steward of it. And I screw it up every day. And so luckily, there's lots of grace from the team. And you good?
I'm good.
You want like I was going to say like a cough drop or something, but,
I'm good.
Yeah, it's that juniper berry.
It is.
Yeah, a little tasty taste, but yeah, it's been crazy. So it's just been a blessing, and our goal is just to not screw it up. But I think the way to not screw it up is just to keep the focus on people. And that's really what it's all about for us, which I think is why I'm so drawn to what you guys are doing, because it's not just about the vehicle and the things that go with it. It's about the relationship. Just like this, like just being able to sit here and talk to you. Like, I would have never thought 5 years ago we'd be doing this.
Right, yes.
And so, in fact, we catered something, I think. My buddy, Ryan Kelchner.
Right, yep, that's right.
He got an F-150, and he, like, did a bunch of stuff to it, and he called me up. He's like, "Hey, Ryan, do you know Neal?" I'm like, "Yeah, we know him." And he's like, "Listen, I want to, like, their team was amazing. Would you put together a meal for them? And, you know, I'll take care of it." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I remember he hooked us up, and we went and catered for you guys. But Ryan's down in Tampa.
Yeah, Florida.
Like, that's just how, like, it just all kind of comes back around. So.
Southern Dance Barbecue.
Yeah, Southern Dance Barbecue.
Southern Dance Barbecue.
Yep.
And, like, he didn't have to reach out to you to come cater to us. We just were doing our job, but we made that connection, and the passion was there, and we kind of hit it off, and it was kind of just a natural thing. And had great barbecue on an evening that was very nice.
So
very
in
nice.
fact, I just talked to him last week. It was good to catch up. So, all right, good, man. Well, I think it's time to fire up the grill. So
I'm ready for it.
You guys stick around. We'll see you soon. Make sure you check out Neal Sheppard. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day just to
Enjoyed it.
Sit and talk to us. And let's go enjoy some venison.
Much more to come from us, too.
We'll see you soon.